Today's morning show is being brought to you by
at Golden Nugget Laughlin. Experience a new kind of reward. Sign up for the 24 Karat Select Club today.
Good Monday morning to you all. I hope you had a nice weekend. I'm sure it was a lot better than mine, but we'll get to that later. Some issues with county issues and water being shut off and construction and all of that fun stuff. But hey, it was a good week football-wise.
Excellent Week.
Yeah, and well, let's just say hello. Good morning, Chad.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a good weekend. It was nice. Got to do a lot of stuff, but we'll go into that later, I suppose.
Well, there was a lot of stuff happening around town for sure, and not all of it was good this weekend. There some definitely some things we'll talk about in the news tomorrow, but we can just glance over after we say good morning to Chris back there. How are you?
Good morning. I'm just finishing up some touches on the football things. There's a little thing that went wrong, but it's going to be good now.
Oh, it was a good week for many of us. Yes.
Was it? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And my stubbornness, I could have been 7-0, but, you know, when you have a vendetta against certain teams and you can't, you know that they're going to win, but you don't take them, yeah, that's what I did. But anyway, how are you? Joe?
Oh, me? Well, I feel the same way, too. Like, I love the Panthers and all, but, oh, man.
Yeah, no. Kind of got crushed.
Yeah, my dreams, right? 7-0 dreams.
So, you know, of course, a big headline this morning, another shooting, another tragedy. Fresno, California, 35, 40 people, family, friends, gathering in the backyard to enjoy a football game, watching it on the big screen out in their backyard, and somebody unknown to them starts shooting. 4 young men are dead, 6 others were wounded. Again, a family party with children present, with just all people just enjoying themselves, and somebody unleashes that terror. So, the details are still coming in on that. It occurred just around 8:30 last night, and again, Fresno, California. Of course, this comes on the heels of last week's tragic high school shooting in Santa Clarita, and it's just these headlines, they don't stop. It's just absolutely tragic, and again, we say this, it seems every week, our thoughts and prayers are with all of those affected by this latest tragedy.
That's crazy because I grew up in Bakersfield, which is, Bakersfield's like the halfway point between, I want to say, LA and Fresno. And I have family in Fresno even, and so it's just kind of like, wow, that could have been anybody. It's sad. Very, very sad. Very sad. And here, of course, in Bullhead City over the weekend, we had a shooting. I mean, it wasn't any mass shooting, but somebody lost their life nonetheless, and another person was injured. And we will have details on that for you tomorrow, but the main suspect turned himself in. So that was the big news there. And then, you know, a strange thing happened. Apparently, some cars caught fire in one of the casino property's garage this weekend. And what was really bizarre about that was it happened almost the same time that 8 cars ignited in the garage at McCarran Airport. Like, on the...
what? Strange.
That's crazy.
Yeah, in fact, I happened to be up in Vegas. Let's not even go there. And my brother, we were out, and he said
oh, look at the smoke coming from the vicinity of the airport. And I looked at my notifications on my phone, and the fire chief for Clark County had sent out a press release on a reported brush fire in the area south of McCarran Airport. So they said that they would update it as necessary, but they had it under control, and I thought that was it. And then I found out that there was actually a fire inside of the garage there, and multiple cars had ignited, because of course you think the proximity, it's very possible, but they said we prepare for these kinds of things. Unfortunately, no one was injured or anything like that. So
they were like, it wasn't
Next
like
to each other.
a car on different floors.
No.
Like, okay, good, because that would have been very odd.
yeah, and I mean, think about it. Highly combustible in such close confines.
The fumes,
It could have
everything,
been,
yeah.
yes, completely disastrous, but they brought it under control, and that was that. No,
Gosh, how many stories is that parking garage, out of curiosity?
I have no idea.
It's huge.
But it's very large, yeah. Yeah,
That could be, wow.
yeah.
Well, good for them for being able to react so quickly.
So, last week I noticed there was a sign that said that a particular road in Las Vegas was going to be closed for the weekend, meaning this weekend. And I knew that this, of course, was going to come on the heels of the entire strip being shut down yesterday because of the Las Vegas Marathon. And I know actually several people from here made their trek up to Vegas to partake in the marathon. And yeah, so imagine my surprise when they closed the road and brought in all this heavy equipment and literally dug the entire road up. I mean, I have pictures. There's nothing there but a huge crater. Like, it's just gone.
Wow.
They're replacing the entire bridge, and it said that it would be closed for 3 days. Well, ladies and gentlemen, when you have a hole big enough to put 3 backhoes and a tractor in it, that's not going to be repaired in 3 days.
They said 3 days? Wow.
And to make matters worse, oh yeah, a water main burst. And then they repaired it. So the water came back on for 30 minutes maybe, and they punctured a hole in another one.
Oh my gosh, that's just enough to tease you.
So yeah, so fun weekend without water. But the county was very good to provide emergency provisions in all of the complexes around that area and bring in water and
Good.
buckets.
I'm sorry, what?
Water and buckets to
You're serious?
I guess
They were able to-
yeah, no, they encouraged people to take water out of the swimming pools to use to flush toilets and
No.
such. Oh yeah. And you know when you hear those horror stories about the cruise ships where those poor people were trapped and they had to send SOS and they were forced to do horrible things, and you know, with being trapped there without water and nothing to flush and all of that.
Right.
Well, I think that that's the way many people in this general area felt. And it was only 2 days, 3 days, I guess now. But can you imagine what those poor people went
Absolutely
through?
not.
When you talk about hurricane victims, what they went through, well, I mean, of course we can go back to Katrina, but Puerto Rico, and Florida, the Keys, being without water, you think is something you just take for granted.
Well, and the worst part for them is they have, like, the water so close, but it's all salt water, and they can't
Do
really
anything with it. Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, can't do
So it's
anything
almost
with it.
teasing them a
Of
little
course
bit.
it is, and it's absolutely horrific. But everything becomes so arduous. You want to clean off your countertop, you want to wash your hands, and it's like, oh my God, I have to get another bottle of water just so I can wash my hands. And then when the water came back on, the worst part was, oh, let me turn the dishwasher on and let me put the washing machine on, and then it shut off in the middle, and like the soap pack melted onto the. Oh God, it was just a disaster. But anyway,
Can I just say, I didn't even think about like not being able to wash my hands. Like, that would drive me nuts.
well, yeah, exactly. So there were plenty of bottles of water next to the sinks because it's just. And again, we tend to take everything for granted until we lose something. And of course, here with the winds, we lose electricity sometimes, and everything becomes so much more difficult. What did they do? What did the pioneers do? How did they do it?
I saw this video that this reminds me of a while back, and it was if you won the lottery every day, and then you didn't one day,
you would be so used to winning it, instead of just being like grateful for what you did get, you'd be like, well, where's my lottery winning?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You just become accustomed to it, and
Yep. And then when it's taken away, you realize what you had,
exactly.
and you have a much
And running
greater
water is
appreciation
a
for
lottery.
it. Right. Oh man. But anyway, that was that. So, we're going to talk about football in a minute, but there was a great story that I heard out of the Chicago Bears game, where a gentleman, instead of making like a Go Bears sign, he put that he was in desperate need of a kidney transplant, and he put his blood type and his phone number, and the woman who was sitting next to him in the stands was so moved by his story. He was a guy that had, lost family members, and he and his wife were struggling with their 4 kids and all of this stuff, and he's just desperate for a kidney. Well, she started a GoFundMe page for him, and people have been coming in with different offers, trying to see if they're a potential match. So we're hoping for the best there, but
No, that's incredible. Like, that's so great. And there's been so many advances in technology and
yeah.
that kind of stuff that I think you only have to have the same blood type and a special medication, and then they can do a transplant. Used to, you had to have tissue matches, and
Yeah.
so that's incredible. That's heartwarming.
Yeah, and of course, because like sometimes poor people wait on that donor list for years and years and years unless somebody is willing to come and step forward. And
it's so much easier when you have a family that can do it, but not everybody matches their
No.
family.
so, of course, God bless with that story. That's definitely, there it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So,
And O blood type is a difficult one to match.
no, O is universal.
But not the recipient. They're
Really?
O negative is the A positive is the most common blood type that can, but they can be donated to by anybody. O negative can donate to anybody, but they can't receive except for O negative. And an O blood type, I believe, has to have O blood type.
Yeah.
Positive can have negative or positive, and the negative can only have negative.
And the most common is O positive.
It's A positive.
I thought the most common was O positive.
No, A positive is the selfish one, because it can take from anyone, but it can only give to other A positives. And O negative is the AB positive is the rarest. I
I've
believe.
never met anybody who is A in my life.
I'm
Isn't
A
that
positive.
funny? I know, you told me that. You're the first person I met. Everybody I met was either O positive or O negative.
And my mom's O negative, and she can only. I'm pretty sure. I'll double check it. That way, I'm not.
Yeah, I thought that O positive was the most common, but I could be mistaken. I don't know.
Maybe it's O positive. I don't know.
Oh, who knows? I don't know, but I thought it was O positive. Anyway, what else is going on? So, we actually should we look at football? Are we ready to do that?
Yeah, we can do that.
I'm excited to get there because it's been a long time since I've had a 6-in-1 week.
Hey, this is my best week of the season.
Congratulations. All right. And our NFL football picks are brought to you by Bikini Bay. As always, a great place to go and watch the games and have some of their delicious food. Yes? You agree, Chad?
I agree. I actually just had some food there.
I know.
And it was probably the best turkey club I've had in a while. Enjoyed it a lot.
All right. Well, there's Monday Night Football tonight. And do you know where the game is being held, by the way?
No.
Mexico City.
Mexico City. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The Chargers
And
Chiefs.
Yes. Yeah. So, all right. Okay, let's take a look at our first game. This breaks Joe's heart.
Oh.
The Falcons and the Panthers. The Falcons were coming off a big win over the Saints last week, where they defeated them at home. So I was thinking they were going to ride that momentum, and many of you felt the same way. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Just Chris came along with me on this one. And wow, the Panthers just didn't have it yesterday. So, way to go, Chris. Nice pick. All right. In our next matchup, we had the Cowboys and the Lions. And yeah, so for most of us, we took the Dallas boys. And what happened?
Well, I mean, they didn't do us dirty or anything.
No.
They did
But
to
this
me.
was a close game. This really was. And, well, Chris,
I know.
It was like,
Yeah.
last minutes I saw.
Okay, now this next game, I know that many of you were certainly taken by surprise if you turned it on early and you saw the Cardinals jump up to a 16-point lead over the heavily favored 49ers. But the Niners came back and improved to 9-1 with a final score of...
And see, I only watched the beginning of this game, and I thought that they had won. So I'm so glad and feeling so relieved now that I'm seeing this. Go Niners.
The Cardinals, they're really good at that, though. A lot of games, it looks like they got
Yeah.
that steep lead, and then later on they kind of...
They cannot
Yes,
hold a lead. They just fall apart. And again, their record is not indicative of how good they actually can be. They just can't seem to play a complete game. And, well, if you can't play a complete game, then you're not going to the playoffs. So. All right. Here we see. We're talking about the Bears and the Rams. This was the night game last night, and it was, I don't know, did you watch it? Anybody watch it?
I just saw like glimpses of it. I did see a few of the others, like the Raiders game, and
Well, it kind of ended on a bit of a sour note for the Bears quarterback, Trubisky. They pulled him in favor of his backup, and he looked he looked very disheartened.
oh no.
But he hasn't really produced for them as of late, and the Bears just continue their downward spiral.
They're just gonna keep experimenting, you know.
Yeah, so... Oh, Chris, you and Lynn went with the
What?
Yeah, we
Chicago.
went with the
Cubs.
Bears.
All right. Okay. Okay, well, the rest of us, go us.
Yeah.
And
Bills and Dolphins.
the Bills and the Dolphins. Now, I think a couple of people here might have said that the Dolphins, yeah, you know, they're on a roll. And, well, all good things must end, right?
Oh, do I have to really show it?
What's that?
I said, do I have to show it?
Oh, so, the Bills came to play, and they left Miami with a big win. And the Bills are, I think what are they, 7-3 now? So
Probably.
they're looking pretty decent for a shot at a wild card spot in the playoffs, which is, you know, something they haven't seen in many, many years. So they're pretty excited up there.
They're one of the good teams.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, no, they're one of the really good teams out there in the league right now.
Yeah. Well, people
Yeah.
still continue to say that they just really haven't been battle tested yet, and the games that they did lose were to teams that were over 500. So we'll see. You know, you don't get to be 7-3 by accident, really.
Oh no.
All right.
By
You don't.
accident.
You also don't get to be 0-10 by accident either.
Okay.
Oh. No, the poor cats from Cincinnati. Well, let's see. Were there any takers on the Bengal side? No, there were not. So everybody went with the soon-to-be Las Vegas Raiders, and, well, now, the Raiders came from behind in this one, too, right?
Yeah, Bengals made the first score, but then the Raiders, they kept up the momentum, and, you know, Carr just handed it to them,
Yeah.
basically.
Carr really played well in the last quarter. I know they showed some highlights from that, but it was so where does that put us? All right, Texans and Ravens. Now, this is the game that I was talking about. I wouldn't let my pride take the Ravens, even though I think we all knew that Baltimore was going to win this. Although I don't know, I'm a strong believer in Deshaun Jackson. I really like the Texans, but not against the Ravens. The Ravens demolished Houston yesterday. It was just abysmal the way
I
they
honestly
played.
don't know why I picked them. I was late. on
Why
my
you
picks.
picked the Ravens?
No, why I picked the Texans.
You didn't pick the Texans.
No. I picked the Texans.
No, you didn't.
Oh, that's Chris. Never mind. My bad. I'm sorry. I was like,
You know what? Put him back over there on that side.
I was looking at it going, why did I pick them? Okay, now I feel better. Sorry.
I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I know why I did. And your pride gets you sometimes.
Oh, Joe, you're still ahead of me.
Still
Can't
very,
catch up.
very close race right now. Though.
I showed the wrong one first.
Oh,
All right. Chad, look at you, 6-1. Fans, way to go, 6-1. I bet you, and I said this, we have some 7-0 folks, don't we? This week?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, we have
Unless I missed one, but I saw a lot of 6
a lot of 6-1s
yes.
from all over. Is there another page?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, congratulations to all of you. And hey, oh, you have the bowl for me.
Yeah, I got the fish bowl.
All right. Okay, let's.
I'm getting the drum roll ready.
All right, get the drum roll ready.
There it is.
The Bucks at the Falcons.
All right.
Maybe the Falcons play better on the road. Who knows, though? The Lions at the Redskins. By the way, quick note: the Jets destroyed the Redskins yesterday. So
Good for them. Yes.
all right. The Raiders at the Jets.
Raiders and Jets. Oh.
The Broncos at the Bills. Broncos blew a 20-point lead yesterday.
Oh.
No.
Oh my God.
How do you do that? You just like go on vacation earlier?
I have
you
two
do.
here. The Seahawks at the Eagles.
Whoa.
That should be a pretty
That's
good
a really
game.
good game, yeah.
Patriots beat the Eagles, by the way, yesterday.
Oh.
In case anybody wondered.
I saw.
Oh dear. The Dolphins at the Browns.
Yeah.
All right, one more. I can't.
Is that 3 more?
Oh my goodness. The
That-
Cowboys at the Patriots. I didn't know that's who they were playing next week.
Ooh,
that'll be
exciting.
Yeah. So the Cowboys at the Patriots. That makes all 7, right? Right. Yes.
Is that a home game or is that a?
The Cowboys at the Patriots.
Oh, at the Patriots.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Are you gonna fly over?
Yeah. That's it. All right. So those are our 7 games. I won't throw them away, and we will have those up for you in just a little bit, like after the show. Give Chris a little time. And once again, our NFL football picks are brought to you by Bikini Bay Bar and Nightclub right here in Laughlin on Casino Drive. And with that, we have weather. We're going to
Yes.
take a look at our weather.
Sounds good. Brought to you by the Laughlin Chamber. Great place for networking and growing and expanding your business and your business connections. That's what chambers are there for, are to help network businesses together to help each other succeed. Okay, your weather looks like this. Yesterday, the official high in Laughlin and Bullhead City was 82 degrees, 75 in Kingman, and 72 in Searchlight. This morning in the Laughlin Bullhead area, we had a low of 57 degrees. Looking around the map, we have in Las Vegas a high today of 75, 89 in Los Angeles, 82 in Phoenix, 66 in Flagstaff, and 82 degrees in Laughlin and Bullhead City. Over in Mesquite, we have a high of 77, 73 in Searchlight, 80 in Lake Havasu City, 71 in Prescott, and 75 degrees in Kingman. No rain for today.
But ladies and gentlemen, hold on to that sunshine today because we have some weather coming in starting tomorrow night. And
Yeah.
it could make for a very, very dangerous
Get a pocket
situation.
full of sunshine while you can.
Yeah. And once again, our weather is brought to you by the Laughlin Chamber of Commerce. And we are going to head into a quick break, but we'll be right back with more of Take 2.
Segment of the morning show is brought to you by Fort Mojave Dental, the best place for the best smile in the tri-state area. Kind and caring staff will help you feel better about your smile. Call them today at 928-758-8887 or check them out online at sugarbug.com.
Are you looking for a clean, stylish, and comfortable salon? You can expect excellence from the award-winning team of stylists at Salon by Houston. Just see what these customers had to say. Conveniently located on Highway 95, just south of Raymar, stop by Salon by Houston today. For more information or to schedule an appointment, call 928-758-HAIR.
Cheeseburgers to check engine lights. Sundays to steering fluid. Birthday cakes to brake pads. For all your everyday needs, Co-op Connections is the one card that does it all.
Mary and Shirley both need oxygen. Shirley lost her freedom the day she went on oxygen, but Mary has the ultra-compact Inogen 1 G4 oxygen concentrator from Inogen. It's the smallest and lightest model we've ever made. Shirley is forced to miss out on everyday activities. Mary fully enjoys her life. Shirley has to wait for tank deliveries and worries about running out of oxygen. But Mary's Inogen 1 G4 makes its own oxygen, so she'll always have the oxygen she needs anytime, anywhere. Shirley finally listened to Mary and now has more freedom too. It's time for you to reclaim your freedom and independence with the Inogen 1 G4. Act now to start your 30-day risk-free trial. This is a limited time offer, so don't wait and don't accept substitutions. The sooner you call, the sooner you can say goodbye to heavy oxygen tanks for good and reclaim the freedom and independence you deserve. Call now for your 30-day risk-free trial.
Call 800-240-9619. That's 800-240-9619.
And welcome back. And you know something, of course, we always have our NFL football picks, and there's another headline in the NFL. Of course, last week the big news was that awful brawl that took place at the end of the Steelers and Browns games. Well, now people are crying foul. Some people are very upset that Colin Kaepernick, remember him? Yeah. Well, he got his own personal tryout for the NFL. And this, of course, came because he alleged that he wasn't being treated fairly, that nobody was looking at him, and he remained a free agent and nobody wanted him because of his political views and his stance, and he was being treated unfairly. So the NFL decided to have a workout just for him, where all of the teams were invited to send a scout and to see if they were interested. And guess what happened?
What?
Interest is slim.
I'm sorry, what?
Interest was slim.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And, you know, there were commentators who were saying, was this a good thing? Was he treated fairly? Was this a good thing for him? And they were saying that the thing about Colin is while he's a very talented athlete, and he certainly was efficient and a good quarterback, how badly did he want to play for these teams? Did he want to continue to promote his political agenda? Now, these are not my words. These are words from NFL commentators yesterday saying, how badly does he want to play? And his tryout was, quote, spotty. He wasn't at maybe the caliber that people were used to seeing him when he was a rookie. When he was decent in his sophomore year too, right? And then he started to have the slump, and then by his third year, his performance really fell off, and then all of the political drama unfolded, and he has not played an NFL game in 3 seasons.
Well, then of course he's gonna go out of shape and just...
Well, they're saying, like, I mean, look at him. Obviously he's in terrific condition and everything, but he's not somebody who has been playing at the NFL level against NFL teams for the past 3 seasons. So they're trying to take that into consideration, and so far, no takers.
Darn.
I mean,
Yeah, so
it's expected. He got what he deserved, I guess.
yeah, and there are people that are still saying that he's being treated unfairly, and well, they arranged an entire NFL tryout for him.
So
Yeah, how is that
NFL.
unfair? I don't see them doing it for me.
Yeah, and there are people who are going to say, well, they're just judging him, and they're not really, if it were any other situation or he was just coming out of the draft, people would say, oh, we want him if you could put aside all of the drama. But then there are other teams and coaches who've said, well, you can't put that aside because, not saying it's a stigma, but he does come with all of that. And if
Baggage.
he's going to come to a team and they accept him, is he going to bring this all up again, especially on teams where they've decided, like the Cowboys, we're not going to kneel, we're not going to do this, we're going to stand, we're going to respect the flag, we're going to do this. So if one of these teams were to call him and say, well, these are our rules, are you willing to abide by them, and he's still pushing his agenda, then he really doesn't want to play in the NFL.
Exactly.
So just wants to use it as a platform. And it's a lot of money to pay him to do that. Owners want results. They want to win games. They want to bring people into the stadium. And let's face it, he's very polarizing. You either love the guy or you absolutely despise him. And are owners really willing to part with that kind of money if he comes to play for the team and they're like, hey, you know what? We don't want this.
Well, and let me ask this. Did he submit like salary requirements or anything like that beforehand, like what he would expect to be paid?
Oh, he's certainly mentioned.
So like if
he
the team said,
expected.
oh, we'll have you as our backup quarterback for $500,000, do you think he would accept it?
No, I don't.
Or do you think that offer would even ever be?
I don't know if that would, because then I'm sure that he would say that that's insulting and demeaning, and then that whoever tried to offer him that would be pulled
He would
into
make
the
them look
limelight.
bad.
I mean, $500,000 is a lot of money to me.
Well,
But
yeah,
obviously
I mean,
it's not to people who are used to making $25 million and
right. And then people who make like $25 million and then go on national TV and act a fool and
lose it.
just lose it, bash people in the head with helmets and do things of that nature. And I don't think we'll see Myles Jarrett in the NFL anymore.
We talked about this last week. They are there to be, yes, they're there to play professional football, but they are held to a certain standard because, when you are in that kind of position, you are a role model.
Yeah. And there's no excuse for that kind of behavior. There's just none.
It incites, it's agreed. There is no room for hitting somebody with a helmet. That's ridiculous.
Hey, didn't you go to a concert this weekend?
Yeah, Chris and I last night actually, or Joe and I mean, we went and there was somebody playing at the nightclub Splash inside of the Aquarius, and Joe and I went down there. Joe's got a picture of me. His name was Sam Riddle.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually a pretty decent performer. We had a good time.
Yeah, no, that guy can play the piano.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's
Amazing.
got mad jazz skills. I love it.
Oh, wow, look at that. Oh. You enjoyed it too?
Oh no,
Joe?
I loved it. Yeah, actually.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah. So and it was a pretty neat atmosphere. The environment was relaxing. It was laid back, and everybody just had a good time there. So you got to see some, which I say this with love and admiration, but you had these groups of older people that were up there, and they were doing their line dances, and I just remember watching going, "Aw, I wish I knew how to line dance. I'd go dance too."
Well, there are several places where you can learn. I know that they even had line dancing at the Golden Nugget.
Oh, yeah.
They have classes, and that's a big thing here. And many of you who are watching, he looks like Kenny Chesney there, by the way.
He did a little bit.
Yeah. Many of you who are watching and are familiar with the area probably know that that's a big thing around here. You can go to many of the casinos, and I'm thinking of certain places where they have lounges, and you'll walk by, and they have a lot of live entertainment, a lot of live bands here, and there's always something going on. And of course, there was the big Spartan race this weekend, and
oh yeah,
told you all about that, and another wonderful, successful weekend, and we are sure that they will be back for many years to come, because the Chamber and just Laughlin in general, the whole area rolled out the red carpet for all of the Spartan athletes. And
I mean, you have to have respect for anybody that can compete in something like that.
yeah, and they made it so amazing this year that you could actually take the course for a test drive, if you will, and to let kids do that in the area, that was just amazing.
It's a great way to inspire them to work towards something like that. Like, it reminds me of the military. Like, there's certain things that we did in boot camp that let me say I was in much better shape then than I am now. But a lot of the stuff we got to do in the Army, and my favorite time in the military was in boot camp, because
You always
there
say
was
that.
so many new experiences and so many things that I would have never been able to do anywhere else. So I appreciated it.
Funny. Not too many people say that how much they loved boot camp.
Hey, I'm used to my mom was always like a drill sergeant, so I was kind of used to all of that aspect of everything.
Nice.
It didn't bother me like it does other people who are used to other conditions, I will call it.
So you were always disciplined.
Yeah, I'm respectful, and I don't intentionally usually disrespect people, and that is a key thing to being successful in boot camp.
Very good. Oh, how can we switch from that to this? But Chris, something you were talking about last week, vaping.
Oh.
Yes, I mean, if you're smoking or vaping, you're probably not a Spartan athlete, right? You're probably not going to be very successful. And especially if you vape so much that you develop this horrific film in your lungs, which now they're looking into. That they're trying to ban all flavored vaping, like, everywhere.
But
and I know some states have.
I don't know. I mean, the thing I think is worse with vaping is I don't know the science behind any of it, but I feel like a lot of people, when they do vape, they vape all the time, like nonstop,
Yes.
like anywhere, because they're not told they can't vape in buildings and stuff like that, and so they just chain vape.
Well, it's funny, you said that you don't know the science behind it. Well, I don't think they do either. I don't think the industry does, because it hasn't been studied long enough. The long-term effects, those vaping tools, if you will, have not been in operation long enough to have the long-term effect studies that cigarette smoke has, or marijuana, anything that you inhale, ingest, smoke, whatever. We know what effects that what other types of things you smoke can have on you in the long term. But vaping, we don't know. But what's just absolutely bewildering now is that in the short term, you have this just rash of all of these predominantly young people developing this severe respiratory illness. And what we witnessed, what we watched last week was a video on a teenager, wasn't it, Chris? Who had to
17. It was a 17-year-old.
17-year-old who had to undergo a double lung transplant. Double lung transplant.
Wow.
And it was successful. And now they said that the average person can live 6 years with lung transplants. They're thinking he's going to beat the odds because he's young and resilient, and they think that he may have a normal life, or a normal life expectancy, and not that 6-year window that they usually give normal lung recipients.
Now, after you've had one, can you get another one? I mean, is that like asking like
I
1,000,000 to 1 odds type thing?
I can't. I don't know. I can't
a deep
imagine.
question, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's so. I mean, that only comes to mind because, again, he's only 17.
17.
Oh, true.
So if he did have that 6-year expectancy, that's not.
No. And imagine a double lung transplant too.
Exactly.
It's just so insane. But I know that on the federal level, we've been talking about so much lately with the whole impeachment inquiry and everything that's going on a global scale, that one of the issues they were going to bring up that the president was going to make an announcement on was vaping. And I don't think that ever came to fruition yet, right? They put it off like an actual federal mandate prohibiting, because I think that's what they wanted to do, prohibit all
vaping flavors other than regular tobacco and menthol?
I mean, if it's causing that kind of damage, I can't disagree with doing that.
Because they said all of the flavors, of course, are marketed toward
Children.
toward kids. And if you look at the recent statistics, and I'm sure you've all heard this, cigarette smoking is at an all-time low amongst everybody, every group, but especially with high school kids. And once upon a time, kids smoked in school. They tried to hide it from their parents,
Smoking
whatever.
in the boys' bathroom.
Right, exactly.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that fell by the wayside because now we've showed you the devices. These kids have been vaping for 2 or 3 years now with, well, maybe a little longer than that, but
I'd say about 5 years now.
and the devices
The
have
first time I saw my first one. yeah.
become
Oh my gosh.
more sophisticated, easier to hide, chic.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
And what's bad is there's a lot of people out there who make assumptions or have theories on stuff, and they present it as facts. Like I've had people tell me before that vaping's better than smoking cigarettes because you're getting the vapor in your lungs and it's helping clear stuff out. And I'm like, what?
Those were commercials. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, now the commercial is the animals protesting, saying that basically if you are doing that, you're a human test subject.
Well, it's true.
It is.
It really is.
And I mean, that kid's one instance of who knows how many are on their way to that condition.
I know. I mean, we hope not, but when you have all of these cases of different oh my gosh. Okay, that's actually very cute.
Touche.
That's very cute.
They're lab rats, get it?
I get it. It's very cute. But it's just something that now there will be people that will argue the point and say that they've been heavy cigarette smokers for decades, 10, 20, 30 years, and they weaned themselves off of cigarettes with an e-cig or a vaping device, and slowly but surely they went from having nicotine in their vaping device to smoking ones without nicotine, right? And it's helped them. That's what they'll say.
Okay.
But again, now it begs the question, but what are you actually inhaling?
Exactly. And if you've gone from removing the addictive substance in them and you're still using one, why? If you're working towards not... It's
habit. Well,
yeah.
I mean, and it is, and it's a horrible, terrible habit, and unfortunately many people are desperate to do anything to break the habit. And I'm not judging anybody who uses an electric device. It's just, it's scary not knowing exactly what you're ingesting, thinking that it's the safer alternative. And
that happened really quick in such a short period of time. Like, in my experience, I've seen people who have quit smoking cigarettes, but then just continue almost nonstop smoking those vaping devices, and that's...
I've seen that too. Like, they'll literally keep it in their mouth the whole time.
Yes.
And like, so much so that it's like a pen that you chew on.
Yes.
And it says that each one, I don't know,
how much,
it's like equivalent to a pack, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you're going through one of those every day or whatever, maybe more than that, I don't know.
Then you're smoking more than a pack a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's pretty scary because, again, you think, well, I'm not lighting something up. It can't be that bad for me. They're saying it's a safer alternative, and maybe it's not.
So it only has it's missing the carcinogens, and that's basically it, right?
Right, but what?
But what are
going
you getting in
the-
place of that?
Right, exactly. And what's really, again, really scary is that cigarette smoke, yes, it's terrible. Oh, God knows what you're ingesting, and over the years it's been worse and worse, with the chemicals. They say formaldehyde, all these different things that you're putting in your body, right? But usually, and again, I'm not saying that one is better than the other, I'm certainly not. If you develop lung cancer or emphysema or something like that, it's not overnight.
No.
It takes years to get to that point. Although it can aggravate conditions if you have
acute bronchitis, and then it can trigger chronic bronchitis, and over time, right? I mean, it's just bad. It's all bad, but you don't usually see somebody dying or almost close to death within a year.
Exactly.
So
You know,
that's
and you had mentioned earlier people who had smoked for decades and then weaned themselves off with those. You also have the people who with smoking or vaping will say, you know, I've smoked for years and nothing's ever happened. And my response is always kind of like, well, yet.
Yeah.
Nothing's happened
Yes.
yet. Whether you live long enough for it to be discovered or found or whatever, something's probably happening.
Yeah.
Whether it's affected you greatly yet or not.
I know, and that's just such a terrible thing to talk about, but it's something that's very real, and it affects many people, and especially with parents. And I know that many parents have been very concerned. They've had numerous forums on e-cigarettes and vaping here because it's really an epidemic.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Back to the kid, how this all started. 17 years old. Were the parents aware of him vaping all day?
I mean, they had to have been for him to get that serious. Like, he had to, like...
Who was buying it for him, too?
That's the thing, too.
Oh, true. He's 17. Probably his friends.
Yeah.
And you know what? If his parents were aware of it, they probably justified it by saying, you know, it's at least he's not smoking cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
my
weed,
gosh.
or he's not doing drugs, he's just doing, you know, this. It's flavored or something.
Oh,
it's not
God.
really
It's
anything.
not tobacco.
And they could have
pot.
even really been ignorant in the whole situation and said, well, it doesn't have nicotine in it. It's just, yeah, exactly. You're so right there.
Right, and it couldn't. Maybe it didn't have nicotine in it.
God.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And that's why, again, we don't know what's in it. And you know, the in thing for a while were the hookah lounges, where they'd have all the different
Yes, the
flavored,
flavor-
and people would share the hookah and all of that stuff. And obviously, a 17-year-old's not old enough to go there.
Yes.
So, but a 17-year-old has heard about it and thinks it's cool. So the next best thing, of course, is a grape-flavored vaping device or peach-flavored, and it's true because kids are drawn to those things, and it's just going to be very interesting to see.
9 times out of 10, that 17-year-old has an 18-year-old friend that's in the same grade as them, and they're able to go out and buy the stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's how he was getting it, was through a friend, but I would be more surprised to know if his parents said they had no idea.
Right. And I'm sure that to smoke to that extent too, you're spending a lot of money.
Oh, I know.
They're not cheap, correct? I mean,
No.
No.
I've seen disposable
the
ones.
little electronic thing can be cheap, but all the little
Cartridges.
yeah, the cartridges where
The
all the money
refills.
they make all their money from.
Yeah, I mean, you go into any gas station and you can see the prices on there.
50
And
bucks, yeah.
right, for a 17-year-old, I get it. You may have an after-school job. You might be working,
All
but
his money goes to
all your money's going to
pots.
that, apparently.
Man, I used to advocate vaping so heavily, but I know it's bad that happened to him, but
Would you say who used to advocate?
I used to be like, yeah, no, vaping's cool and all, I guess, because
Well,
yeah,
no,
it's
because
not-
that
it's
was
not-
the thing.
Yeah, it was.
I know, right?
Again, everybody had that assumption that it's going to be better for
Yeah,
you
I
because
know.
you're not
Right.
inhaling the cigarette
Now
smoke.
I'm like
Yeah.
far off that.
I mean, I'm not. I was under that delusion.
Me too, and I'm like, what a
Yeah.
great way to help people who just can't break the habit. It's great. And now you just have to wonder, like, oh my gosh, what
There
is
is
in
no-
it?
How many people did I send spiraling down the wrong path?
Oh, God.
Exactly.
Well, that's
yeah.
what I originally thought it was. Like when I had heard about it, like
Yeah.
freshman year, I thought it was like water. You know, remember
Yeah.
that's what I
Like
thought
steam,
it was.
like
Yeah,
whatever, and
that's- But then now, a couple years later, it goes by, and you're like, wow, this is way worse than what I thought.
yeah, just I
It's
don't
like
know.
snake oil. I mean, it's not the one-all cure-all like anti-smoking device. I mean, yeah, no.
Well, we'll certainly watch as that whole situation unfolds. Hey, I heard something today.
Okay.
So when I first came here, you know, one of the things that I was very surprised to see was that there was not a Dunkin' Donuts on every corner.
And I grew up without one, so I don't.
I grew up with one in
On your corner?
like 5 exactly on my corner, but I actually saw had 5 in like a 1-mile radius.
Wow.
And we're very serious about Dunkin'. So on the national news this morning, I heard that a trend that originated in Rhode Island and Massachusetts will soon be coming to an end. Do you know what that is?
What?
Rhode Islanders never get an iced coffee without putting it in a Dunkin' hot cup. They will put it in a hot cup for you if they're really nice.
Because insulation? Or?
Yes, so that it doesn't, you know, the condensation doesn't get all over. So they will take the plastic cup and put it inside a styrofoam cup. And I grew up this way, and every time I'd get an iced coffee, they'd put it in a hot cup. Well, now they're banning that.
Like in a cup for a cold one and in a styrofoam
It would be
cup?
in a cold cup and then put inside of the large hot cup.
That's funny.
And then there some places started charging extra for it. Like, oh, well, we're going to charge you $0.25. We're going to charge you 15
Charge you
cents.
for the
whatever.
cup?
Yeah, and they put an end to it. It's ceasing. And their whole new marketing campaign says something like, Dunkin' iced drinks are delicious and single.
Oh no.
One
That's
cup.
funny.
So anyway, I just thought that was...
No, that's cute. I mean, I never knew about that trend, so it's interesting.
Well, so now you know.
Learn something new every day.
All right. And, you know, we have to take a look at that all-important 5-day weather forecast, but we have to head into a quick break first. So we will have that for you right on the other side.
Hours. The weather is brought to you by First Call Restoration Water and Fire Damage Experts with exceptional customer service. Now offering carpet, upholstery, tile, and grout cleaning services. Second look at weather was brought to you by First Call Restoration Water and Fire Damage Experts with exceptional customer service. Now offering carpet, upholstery, tile, and grout cleaning services.
Today's morning show is brought to you by Hospice Compasses. At the heart of who we are stands compassion, integrity, and excellence. Call Hospice Compasses for more information.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, this may be the most important phone call you'll ever make.
I owed $87,000 in taxes. But listen.
Your tax problem is settled. You only owe $3,500.
What a great message.
I owed $11,000 on my taxes. But now...
Congratulations. You only owe $2,068.
How's that sound?
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, then you owe it to yourself to call this number or go to tax10000.com. Even if you are already at the point where you're struggling with levies and garnishments, let our experts help guide you through the process of negotiating a tax settlement.
We owed the IRS $48,000.
But check out what we actually paid.
Are you sitting down? You only owe $3,571.
Call 800-219-1086 or go to tax10000.com. That's 800-219-1086.
This segment of the morning show is brought to you by All Wellness Medical Center, now open for all your wellness needs. Located on Canyon Road off the Bullhead Parkway. Make an appointment today.
And welcome back once again. Yeah, so apparently we are headed for some weather, and I know that we're going to take a look at the 5-day weather now. But
Oh, right.
it looks pretty nasty, that forecast.
Yeah.
And our 5-day weather is brought to you by Mojave Skin and Cancer, with offices in Lake Havasu City, Kingman, Bullhead City, and right here in Laughlin. They can take care of all of your dermatological needs.
Yes. And today, again, we have a high of 84 with north winds at 16 miles an hour and sunshine for the last day for 3 days anyway. Tomorrow we have thunderstorms with winds from the south-southeast at 16 miles an hour and a high of 78. Wednesday, highs drop down to 64 with winds from the south at 60 miles an hour and rain. Then Thursday, it looks like morning showers with winds from the north-northwest at 12 miles an hour and a high of 61. And then sunshine returns, but the high only gets up to 65 on Friday. Over in the Midwest, we have Maple Grove with a high of 39. As well in Chicago, they have a high of 39, 57 in Kansas City, 41 in Detroit, and 48 in Cincinnati. And again, hello to our friends in Maple Grove.
And once again, our 5-day weather is brought to you by Mojave Skin and Cancer. And we will have, of course, all of the latest information for you tomorrow on the weather. And I know that there's already a flash flood warning that's been put in place for Mojave County, but we'll have that for you tomorrow with the rest of the Tri-State News.
I can't wait.
All right. See, I'm always trying to say goodbye and thank you to everybody before the credits start rolling over my face. So I don't know, did I time it right?
I think so.
You got another extra minute. But hey, do you know what's coming up, by the way?
What?
Black Friday.
Oh, yeah. Oh, don't start.
Oh. That means Thanksgiving is coming up, and that's like not prepared for that at all.
That's next week.
Oh no,
I can't believe it.
Next week.
Santa's already arrived at some of the local shopping malls, by the way.
Oh, really?
I mean, but they came right after Halloween.
I know. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the arrival of Santa should not be before. He really makes his United States appearance in New York City on the Thanksgiving Day Parade, the Macy's Day Parade.
That's right.
And he comes into town, and that's the authentic Santa.
Yes. You know, and I struggle with like having Santas too soon, but then if you think about it, in denser populated areas, they get those long lines of people wanting to take their picture, and if when they get them earlier, there's less lines and kids get on. I don't know. I'm torn on that one.
Yeah, I know, but
because I hate lines. Just saying.
I hate lines too. I'm thinking, what if the Santa is like the one in Bad Santa, like Billy Bob Thornton?
Oh my gosh, I love that movie.
I do too. I want to watch it now.
I do too. Have you seen the new one?
No.
It's the little kid all grown up, and oh my
no
gosh,
way.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I loved him. I love that whole movie. Oh my God, I love that whole movie.
I do too. And he's not vaping, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
He knows.
No. And I think he had a bottle of Jack to wash that down with.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so his lungs got washed.
Kathy Bates plays his Billy Bob Thornton's mom in the new one.
Oh, goodness, no.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that must be incredible.
And she's just like him, only worse.
That is great. If you haven't seen Bad Santa, I suggest you do.
Yeah.
He'll get you in the holiday spirit, right?
Definitely.
Oh, wait, one other thing, too. The Jeffrey Epstein thing just does not go away.
No, that was funny. That was hilarious.
It was hilarious. It will not go away. And you see all the memes with the National Lampoons, that other things that didn't hang themselves, the Christmas lights, and oh, man.
I forgot the one I sent this weekend to you.
I guess that's it. The credits are rolling now, so thank you, Chad.
Anytime.
And thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.
And thank you, each and every one of you, tuning in on all of our platforms. We do appreciate it. And we hope to see you right back here tomorrow for the latest in Tri-State news, weather, high school sports spotlight, and all of that. Have a great day, everyone.
Today's morning show has been brought to you by
A Golden Nugget Laughlin. Experience a new kind of reward. Sign up for the 24 Karat Select Club today. The preceding presentation of the morning show is intended for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the show without the express written consent of TV2 KLBC is strictly prohibited.
The Boys and Girls Club of the Colorado River encourages you to donate local, shop local, and support local at the club's thrift store in Bullhead City. Donate your gently used items. Shop at the thrift store for great bargains to support programs for our local youth. It's that easy. Also, volunteers are always needed. The Boys and Girls Club of the Colorado River. Great futures start here.